Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report from CRISPR Therapeutics, and trust me, it's not as dull as it sounds. We're going to decode what's happening with this gene editing giant. It's got exciting elements like money or lack of it and risks. If you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below for you to hang out with fellow decoders. So CRISPR Therapeutics just dropped their financial results for the first quarter of 2025, ending in March. They've also given some business highlights in a press release. Now, remember, this information isn't officially filed in the strictest sense, so don't go using it for insider trading or anything like that. So CRISPR released a press release. We will see how that plays out, whether there is actually new insight. Before we dive in, a quick note that CRISPR Therapeutics is traded on the Nasdaq Global Market under the ticker symbol CRSP. Let's get straight to the meat of the matter, their financial results. First, let's talk about revenues, the income they generate. For the quarter ended March 31, 2024, CRISPR Therapeutics made about $0 2024, CRISPR Therapeutics made about $0 2025, and revenue increased to $28.7 million. That's a huge jump. We're talking about more than 100x growth. Basically, they didn't make a lot of money and now they are making some money. Now let's look at where the money's going. Research and development expenses for the first quarter of 2024 were $186.9 million. First quarter of 2025, those expenses were $204, having 10% increase, which is typical of biotech companies. This suggests they are committed to innovating, trying to find the next breakthrough, or maybe even trying not to fall behind competitors. So they're spending more on research, a little less than 10% increase, which is typical of biotech companies. This suggests they are committed to innovating, trying to find the next breakthrough, or maybe even try not to fall behind competitors. General and administrative expenses, which covers all things like salaries and office costs, also went up a bit. In 2024, they were $65.4 million, and in 2025, they rose to $74.4 million. This is a relatively small increase, but it does reflect the growing pains of a company that is scaling up. Here is the most important thing. The bottom line shows that CRISPR Therapeutics had a net loss. In the first quarter of 2024, their net loss was $241.4 million. In the first quarter of 2025, it decreased to $145.6 million. So they're still losing money, but they're losing less money than before. Let's check out how much cash they have on hand. As of March 31, 2025, CRISPR Therapeutics had $1.7 billion in cash equivalents, and marketable securities. That is a solid war chest. It gives them plenty of runway to continue funding their research and development efforts. Now, it's time to talk strategy and future plans, but note that there are always risks involved, and the company wants to say that too. CRISPR Therapeutics seems very excited about exaggum-glycine autotemporal. That's a mouthful, I know, but this gene editing therapy is very important to them. They expect to complete their submission to the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, by the end of the first quarter of 2025, and that's good since it means they are on track. So they are waiting for the government's approval to sell their stuff. So CRISPR is looking to get regulatory feedback on their clinical trial designs. This simply means that they want to hear from the regulatory agencies as to whether their tests are good and if they are likely to pass. CRISPR Therapeutics is actively seeking business development opportunities. This could involve partnerships, collaborations, or even acquiring other companies. Basically, they want to get more ways to make money. Of course, there are risks. They have to do with research and development, regulatory approval, manufacturing, commercialization, and competition. Basically, everything that could go wrong could go wrong. They made a statement about the assumptions they made to come up with the expectations, saying how they cannot guarantee anything. Let's step back and take a broader look at CRISPR Therapeutics. The revenue increased, which is impressive. The decrease in net loss is also encouraging. It shows that they're making progress toward profitability, even though they're not there yet. On the other hand, they are still losing money, and their expenses are very high, especially on research. This is typical of biotech companies, but it also means that they rely on continued funding and successful outcomes from their research efforts. CRISPR Therapeutics operates in a very competitive field with many players. They face competition from other gene editing companies as well as traditional pharmaceutical companies. They have a lot of cash. That gives them the ability to weather the storm. The company has a good shot at growth if they can avoid failures. Alright, that's our breakdown of CRISPR's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.